Welcome back, everybody. This is another video in the series of renovating our backyard, and that includes fixing this sprinkler system. Last thing we showed was the sprinkler system is completely destroyed from the corrosion in the wires for the solenoids because they just put it back in the soil, and that's not what you want to do. So it traveled down those wires and destroyed the rest of it. Sadly, I just can't replace the wiring. It's in the assembly of the solenoid itself, so I have to replace the entire piece. It's essentially an entire assembly, so I bought a new one. This is an Orbital 3 solenoid piece, and this is going to work perfect. So now you see Chelsea here cutting out all of the pipes, the main pipe coming in from the water line from the house, and then the 3 going out into the sprinkler system, which goes to those 2 zones. And yeah, it's quite a mess. You think it's one simple thing, and then it turns into a complete headache. So the next thing was, as I was testing the water pressure out earlier, there was actually a pinhole in this. Somebody just cemented this little conjoining piece. I don't even know how long this has been leaking, and I only just noticed it because the soil was wet there. So I'm glad I saw this. All right, the next challenge is, you can see I have this pressure regulator that was already in the ground. I'm not quite sure why they did this, but I have to now step down from 60 or 50 PSI, which was coming from the hard PVC, to this 30 PSI of this soft line that's already in the ground. So I got to replace that. I got to find another one that is similar. So we have to hit up the parts store to be able to get everything we need to do this next section. So I grabbed all of these parts. I also got some topsoil as well. You'll see what we got to do there in a second. But I grabbed new sprinkler heads. I figured at this point, might as well replace all the sprinkler heads because I'm doing all the work here anyway. So I dug down to try and find where these were. Some of them were not too deep. Some of them were super deep because they didn't have any risers on them. So there was a whole combination. Some of these were replaced and were original. Some of them were replaced later on. So it was a whole combination of just this cluster of everything. You can see some of these were a little bit newer. They have these Hunter sprayers. I think you can get these at Home Depot or something. This was the fixed, quote unquote, fixed piece that they had, which was not a fix. So we got a new adapter piece. I gave this to Chelsea. This was horrible because they ran this piece under the Taverntine and it was not easy to get to. My next challenge was to properly dig this out and place in what they should have done, which was these small pebbles. I mean, in my knowledge, again, I don't know what I'm doing, but in my knowledge, this is what you're supposed to do for the proper irrigation. Put the small pebbles down, and then let's properly fit these up, fit the manifold up to the PVC. So I just got this PVC cement. I didn't use a primer, which is that purple. It didn't say you had to have it, so I didn't buy it extra. I didn't want to have to spend the money. So I set this. It sets very quickly. So you put it on. It's just that regular PVC glue. And while I was letting that sit, I used my threaded fittings, and I got another little pressure regulator. This is, again, 30 PSI rated. I didn't have a PVC cutter, so I just used what I had here. You can use it for plastic, so that's fine. I cut a little tiny guy there and put this in here. And this is all I needed to be able to finish the rest of our adapter piece for the 60, 50 PSI to 30 for the pressure regulator for that soft line. What's really cool about this Orbital manifold with the solenoids and everything in it, this was only like $60. It's really pretty affordable. So honestly, anybody can do this yourself. So after I let everything dry and set, I think the setting time is about 10 minutes. I go ahead and tested just the water pressure. Nothing is wired up. I just wanted to test the water pressure. You open up all the valves, and I had no leaks. Everything was good. I had none of the sprinklers on, so I was just casually flooding my yard, but this was a good test for me to check to make sure everything was good to go. And I checked down here as well. Everything was set, and no leaks. Everything was good. And I just wanted to show here, if you put a multimeter on and show the resistance between each one of these solenoids, it shows 60 ohms almost perfectly. And my old manifold, it was showing 19 or 20, and it would still show an open circuit, so you know that those were bad. I wired everything up through these waterproof connectors. Those are the ones that actually came with it. I wasn't going to do that. I was actually going to solder up everything and just heat shrink the connections, but this is actually what it recommended you do and not do anything else. Then wrapped everything up, put a little more stone in there, and I filled up the rest of the hole, and I made sure that the irrigation is good to go, so if any water gets in there, it disperses properly into the yard. And then I have access to it again. You can see Blue here is very happy that the sprinklers work. So we put topsoil back on. I didn't show that, and we raked everything properly so that the seed that we put back on here is good to go and ready to grow. Chelsea bought this drought resistant like wildflower seed mix, so it's gonna work great and it's gonna look awesome and way better than grass. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and that's just part of my yard renovation series.